Hey y'all, Darla here with Growing Tropical, and once again you find me in my front yard. I don't think that I can get out of this front yard. I have been between decorating and trying to clean up. I am trying to shift into the backyard so I can get back there and get some cleaning in the flower beds and just doing some projects back there that have been long overdue. But what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what we actually do here in South Florida in the month of November, December, besides decorating for the holidays. What I'm doing is, and in my last video, if you guys watched the last video, it was all about decorating the front yard and putting lights up and the whole thing for Christmas. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to, the flower bed actually directly behind me that has the three huge queen palms. This flower bed is absolutely beautiful, but it is a lot of upkeep. These queen palms are getting to the point where they're getting quite large and in charge. And while I do love that, they do require a little bit of maintenance. And what I mean by that is, and I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to zoom the camera in here, I'm going to take the camera. There are little orange berries. These guys, these queen palms, they produce these just these big plumes of I don't even really know. Actually, I'm gonna walk with you guys with the camera and show you. It's easier for me to show you than to try to explain to you. But check these guys out. These are the berries right here that come, I mean, they're on these huge, huge stalks. And they're just like full of these. They start out green like this. And then as you can see, they're starting to turn orange. And there are probably about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 of those big stalks in these trees. And they get very heavy, and they also, they litter actually everything up. They just litter everything up. And I absolutely hate that, because they get in the flower bed, they cover the mulch all up, and when they start like rotting, they just kind of don't smell very good either. They won't hurt anything as far as you know, killing any of my plants or anything like that, unless one of those big things falls on one of the, like the shrubs or something. But I'm rambling on. My point is behind this is to show you guys what we normally do with these queen palms, and what I'm trying to do as far as cleaning out this front planter bed. My husband and I went through with the aerial saw, and as you saw the pile that I had over here, we just go in, and right when the bloom comes out, we try to go ahead and get in front of it, and we try to take those blooms off to get them out of the way. Well, because it was, again, the summertime is just so hot, it was just almost virtually impossible to get out here and try to concentrate on you know, getting those berries that are not, they're not berries, they're big, I don't know what you want to call them, to be honest. It's some kind of a fruit, but trying to get up in the trees, and you know, it was just too hot. Bottom line was, it was just too hot. So that is what I am doing now, and we are trimming the palm trees up a little bit to make sure that they have lift, so they can go through the winter months looking really, really nice. They will slow down in their growth, maybe just a little tiny bit, but really not a whole lot, because again, like I've told you before in my videos, we don't get like super, super, super cold here, which is really good. But anyway, just kind of moving on or whatever, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get these little, the ones that I didn't get in front of, the ones that drop here, I'm going to go ahead and just rake these guys all out of here in a big pile and just kind of throw them away. And I'm going to be remulching. And in the meantime, what I also did too was I just trimmed back a little bit. Now, to be quite honest with you, I don't recommend during the months of December and January that really anybody, unless you just live like in a climate where it doesn't even get down into the 60s or the 50s or even the 40s or whatever, I don't really recommend that you go through and you know, start hacking on your shrubs and trees and stuff like that. However, I do trim a little bit. As you saw in the beginning of this video, I kind of top off my Thyrellus, I top off my copper, Scheffalera. I just go through and just give mild cleanups, because generally I don't have a problem with, if we do get a little bit of cold, we don't get freezes as a general rule where I have to worry too much about anything like that. But I like to have a nice clean bed. That way when we go into spring, and when I mean for like springtime for us usually starts like at around in March, where I can have a nice clean because again, everything's growing a little bit slower, and I can just start right in putting in my pretty springtime color without having to do too much fussing and furying over cleaning out beds and everything like that. If I can get it done now, I would much rather do that. So that is kind of what this video is about, is just kind of showing you guys a little bit about what I'm doing, or what we do here in South Florida. And again, what I did was, you guys didn't actually see, we were cutting the palm trees, trimming some of the dead fronds. And actually, I did trim off some of the green fronds. As a general rule, trimming green fronds off of any palm tree is kind of sort of a no-no. I've done a lot of research before we started putting our front yard together, because I knew that I wanted to have that tropical look with a lot of palm trees, and I didn't know really. I mean, I knew that they were beautiful and I knew a little bit about them, but I really didn't know a lot or enough about them to be able to take care of them in my landscape. And after a lot of research on palm trees, I learned just a lot. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be dropping a link in this video, I'll link below, to the University of Florida's website that talks all about tropicals and the palm trees. And if anybody who's watching this video that's interested in growing palm trees, and whether it's in a pot or whether it's in your landscape, it is a fantastic website to visit, because it tells you all about palm trees, fertilizing and trimming and insects, and just basically everything that you'd want to know about growing a palm tree. So anyway, back to what I was saying, I did make a choice to go ahead and trim back a few of my green fronds that you can see up in these trees. I took probably about 2 to 3 off each one of these trees. And I think it's going to be okay based on what I have read. And what it basically tells you is that you should not ever cut more fronds off your palm tree that it produces in the course of like 1 year. So I really think that I'm safe, because as a rule, I don't trim my fronds until they are completely dead, because I want, as those fronds are dying, the nutrients are going back up into that frond and going into the next frond that's coming out. And that is extremely, extremely important for palm tree growth, especially here, well, in South Florida. There are cold variety of palm trees that you can grow, like in the northern states in Florida, and I believe there's even some like super cold varieties that you can grow in the northern states. I don't know them off the top of my head, but here in South Florida, the palm trees that we grow in a really awful soil. We are sandy with absolutely no nutrients in the soil whatsoever. So palm trees require a very specific nutrition, and I will be going into that. I know I've been saying that I'm going to be making a video, and I am going to be making a video on the nutritional needs of palm trees or tropicals in your landscape. But anyway, I did trim some of these green off here, and I think it's going to be okay. My palm trees are, as a rule, very healthy. I don't really have too much by the way of deficiencies. I try to stay on top of that with the proper fertilizer, and obviously not trimming or cutting my trees when I don't really need to. So anyway, what I've done was I've cut the palm trees. I did the same thing with the pygmies. I kind of gave everything a nice lift, and now I'm going to be cleaning up these berries that have dropped in here, and I've went ahead and trimmed up pretty much everything I think that I'm going to be trimming. There's small Chrysandra that is in the middle here. He's kind of at a bad spot, so I'm going to lift him out of there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start just getting the rest of this stuff cleaned out and let you guys just kind of watch. Now, there's nothing wrong with Chrysandra. While it looks a little rough, rode hard and put away wet, I'm going to go and take him and I'm going to pop him down into probably a pot. And I'm just going to go ahead and get him nice and healthy and a lot of good growth on him again, fertilize him up. And then I'll be able to pop him into the landscape as we go into the spring months. And he'll look brand new, only he'll be a little bit older. So he'll probably start, I'm hoping actually he'll start I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. He will start actually blooming probably a lot sooner than he will when I get him in just from the nursery. So anyway, just wanted to kind of show you guys what this actually looks like. That was extremely satisfying. I love it when I can clean up something in the same day, actually. It is so beautiful out here right now. It's probably, gosh, maybe about 75 degrees, and it's maybe 5:30 in the evening. I absolutely love it. I just wish the sun would stay out a little bit longer so I could continue gardening and doing what I absolutely love. There's just so much satisfaction in well, when you garden, there's just so much so much satisfaction when you clean something up and then you turn around and you take a look at what you've done, and it just I don't know. I don't know if you other gardeners are out there like that feel the way I do, but I just love it. It just gives me such self-satisfaction just to turn around and look at what just how nice clean the beds look. And like I said, I've been trying to get this done now for several months, but it's just been so darn hot. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me in this video. It was just really about kind of cleaning up, a little bit about my palm trees and the mess that they absolutely make. I don't mind that because my queen palm trees are absolutely beautiful, and when they are well taken care of, you will get a lot of beauty out of them. They are a little work. They're probably a little more work or a lot more work than the average palms. Like, for example, I have spindles, I have foxtails, and I have Christmas Adanita palms. And those are much more self-cleaning. They don't really produce the berries and stuff that this one does. But my queen palms I describe them as being very majestic. They're absolutely beautiful, again, when you allow them to grow in your landscape the proper way and clean up after them. They will give you so many years and years and years and years of just beautiful, of just such beauty. And I wish the wind were blowing right now because you could just see them swaying. When we get like breezy days, the palm trees just sway and it looks absolutely beautiful. So, okay, I've rambled enough. I've just had a really good afternoon doing all this cleaning and a little bit of trimming up and everything. And this flower bed hopefully will stay nice and clean. That way, when end of February, beginning of March comes, I can start maybe putting some more color and everything. And actually, I might even start dabbling with a little bit more color with the sun patience. Actually, not sun patience because it gets a little more shade here, but maybe some impatiens, some petunias. I may even put some geraniums in this year in the landscape. Those types of plants, usually I always just kind of put in containers and everything, but I'm getting a little bit more, I don't know what the term would be, just more, I'm thinking outside of the box. I'm trying to put things more in the landscape because I love it. I love the way it looks. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I know I ramble a lot, but I'm just so passionate about gardening, and I love being able to do this because it's been a long time since I've been able to get out and actually clean and everything. But everything, all my lights and everything in the front yard are starting to pop on and look really pretty. But until the next video, you guys, bye for now.